My name is Barbara Rivera. I'm a visual artist. I've always loved art since I was a little kid, and now I get to live my dream. Art, you can go in so many directions. I really feel like my roots are who I am, and I like to portray that in my paintings. You'll see a lot of Dia de los Muertos. I have folklorico, a lot of different themes, but they kind of touch on my Latino Mexican culture. I grew up in a pretty modest home in Santa Ana. My mom is immigrant from Nayarit, Mexico, and my dad is Cuban from Guantanamo, Cuba. We didn't have a lot of resources, but definitely a home with a lot of love. I discovered my love of painting as a child. I must have been, I don't know, when you start loving colors at 4 or 5. I remember going to the store with my mom, and there was a little tiny section that had crayons and a little craft section. And I always remember going to the store and just running to that section because I wanted to see what color pencils, what coloring books. And I remember smelling the pages of the coloring book and the crayons, the box. I don't even know if they still sell the colors of Crayola, the boxes of Crayola that had like 500 colors. That was magic to me. My aunt, these are real pictures of chickens and ducks that were at my aunt's house. And then we live in Nayarit, which is by the ocean, so these birds are really famous there. They're called morenas, and they're from that region of Nayarit. They kind of look like flamingos, but they're amazing. So anyways, that was inspired from a trip to Nayarit. I really did grow up with an identity crisis. You know, you feel like you're not really American, you're not really Mexican. You go to Mexico, you don't really fit in Mexico because they think you're a Chicana, I don't know, we're in a really weird bubble. I don't know if you could say that, like, because sometimes you don't feel like you belong here, you don't belong there. It's like you're in the middle and you're trying to be both, and I didn't embrace my culture at that age, and maybe even growing up through high school. My husband, Felix Rivera, we met in art class, and he used to do he was madly in love with me. He still is. We married so young. We had our first child. I was 19, 20, I had my second son, 21, I had my third son. Hold on. Jacob, we're filming. We got sound going on, son. You can come down. Do you want to take a bite to eat? Being a mother and an artist, it's not always easy, but when I was raising my kids, it's almost criminal not to be able to focus on them and just on myself and my art. So I gave that up for a long time. As soon as they went to college, now my life didn't revolve around my children anymore. So at that point, that's when I started really getting into my craft. Painting is very emotional for me. My texture and my emotions and my color choices, they go hand in hand with what I'm feeling at the time. The first stroke is always the hardest, and it just, once you hit the paint with the first stroke of paint, now the ball's rolling. And then it's all layers for me. Once I get the color in and I get my texture going, then I'll come back and I'll glaze it, and it'll make all the color uniform. So right now it looks like it's all over the place, but I learned and I kind of know what I'm doing now. It took me forever, but if I'm happy and grounded where I need to be, my painting just flows. If I'm a little bit upset about something, I'll put down big paint in different strokes, and you can really see my texture. And I go through different emotions sometimes when I'm painting. Like, I'll come back the next day, I'm like, what was I thinking? Why did this happen like this? I'm a self-taught artist, so for me, I didn't have a curriculum for 4 years that had step by step what I needed to learn and color theory and whatever. I didn't have that. There's a process, and you have to follow the process. There's laws that you must follow, and patience is the biggest law that you have to be right there with, because if you hurry up and don't let your colors dry, they'll muddy. I'm an oil painter, so that process is even longer because oil takes a long time to dry. So that's why I always have multiple paintings going at once, because while this painting's drying, I'm working on another one or another one. And I could have 5 paintings going, and I do in my room that I paint upstairs as well. I have that many paintings going that are live. They're drying. I feel like I went through a really emotional time in my life, and I felt like I was so alone, and the art that was coming through, I felt like it was just my husband and I going through the river of life with all these piranhas. No one has ever seen this painting unless you come to my house, because I've never shared it, and it's not really done, but it's kind of, that's where it needs to be right now. Your paintings are kind of never really finished because you can always add something, but there has to be a point where a smart point where you have to pull away and stop, because you can overwork a painting and just totally go a different direction. Along the way, there's a lot of life happening, and sometimes you get tired of the painting, but when you can get it quickly from start to finish to completion, oh, it just comes together, and you already see the whole image, and you know this piece is going to be hanging in a gallery somewhere. Some people are going to see it and stand in front of it. I think that part is really rewarding when you see it actually hanging somewhere and people are standing in front of it and saying, oh my gosh, those eyes, or whatever. You did a really good job, whatever, whichever part of the painting that they're liking. I think to see people's reactions, that's the most rewarding part for me as an artist. I feel like what I want someone to take away when they look at my art and stand in front of my paintings, I want them to feel proud of their heritage. I try to focus on the colors of Latino culture and our food, our dances, our dress. Mexico is so diverse. There's so many different ethnicities within Mexico. So like the people of Oaxaca are not the people of Nayarit or the people of Mexico City or or anywhere, like they're all different kinds of Mexicans. They dress different, they speak different, their dialects are different. They can't even communicate with their own language because they're so different. But I feel like that's huge. That's a big part of my life. I love to show culture. Culture is what I want them to take away when they see my Dia de los Muertos. I want them to see and say, I'm so proud to be Mexican. It makes me happy to be Latino and Latina, and with that's really what I want them to take away. Advice would I give myself as a 22-year-old with 3 babies, 3 baby boys? I would say follow your dreams, stay on it. Your dreams will come true. You cannot lose hope. You have to stay and have faith that you're going to get there. It might take you a lifetime to get there, but you're not comparing yourself to other artists. Your journey is your journey. I have this whole new life energy that I am so excited to create and to finally just live and live my life as an artist. I'm thrilled right now. It's so much, it's fun, it's exciting. Finally, I'm here. It took me 50-something years to get there, but I'm there. I'm at a happy point in my life right now.